Now we can begin to explore in greater depths the relationship between anarchism and orthodoxy, seeking in the end to understand the merits, within due proportions, of the anarchist tradition in relation to Christianity. Leo Tolstoy, one of the greatest novelists in history, was also a political and social thinker deeply influenced by Christian teachings. His anarchist philosophy is closely tied to his personal interpretation of the Sermon on the Mount and the Christian principles of love, non-violence, and rejection of the use of force. For Tolstoy, true Christianity was incompatible with the power of the state, which he saw as a corrupt and oppressive institution. In his work The Kingdom of God is Within You in 1894, Tolstoy expounded his ideas on Christianity, rejecting violence and coercive authority, proposing a form of anarchism based on love and brotherhood among humans. At the heart of Tolstoy's anarchism is the idea that true freedom can only be achieved through non-violence and refusal of authority. Tolstoy believed that the struggle against the state should not be fought through violent revolution, as advocated by other contemporary anarchists, but through the inner transformation of individuals and adherence to Christian love. He viewed Christianity as a moral foundation for the construction of a society without the presence of the state, where people would be guided by their conscience and the ethics of love. In this sense, his anarchist vision clearly distinguishes itself from more radical forms of anarchism, such as collectivist anarchism or anarcho-syndicalism, which advocate for direct action and the destruction of state institutions, often by violent means. While Tolstoy's anarchism advocates for non-violence and individual moral transformation, other anarchist currents, like anarcho-syndicalism, focus more on direct action and the use of force to overthrow the state system. Thinkers like Bakunin and Proudhon viewed the state as the main force of oppression, but believed that revolution and class struggle were necessary to destroy the power structure and establish a new social order. Bakunin, for example, believed that anarchism should be accompanied by revolutionary action, which included taking power through popular revolt. This difference is crucial. Tolstoy completely rejects the idea that violence can be justified to achieve a stateless society, placing him at odds with the more radical forms of anarchism. His approach is more akin to a form of pacifist anarchism, believing that social change should occur through individual transformation and the spreading of Christian principles of love and forgiveness. Furthermore, Tolstoy opposed the idea that the collectivization of property was a solution to social problems, a view common among anarchists like Bakunin and Kropotkin. For Tolstoy, private property should be respected but used altruistically and cooperatively, with the idea that the true Christian should share their possessions with those in need. This aspect of his vision is, in fact, a critique of capitalist exploitation, but does not go as far as advocating for the abolition of private property, as in the case of classical collectivist anarchists. Tolstoy's pacifist anarchist conception is deeply rooted in his Christian interpretation, which distances itself from institutionalized orthodoxy and the practices of the Russian Orthodox Church. Tolstoy saw the Church as a corrupt institution that had distorted its original teachings in the name of power and wealth. In his writings, he vehemently criticized the alliance between the Church and the state, which led to his excommunication from the Russian Orthodox Church in 1901. However, his Christian anarchist vision still preserved the essential principles of orthodoxy, such as the emphasis on love for others and non-violence. Tolstoy viewed the true Christian message as a rejection of authority and violence, resonating with the more radical doctrines of early Christianity that fought to live according to Christ's example rather than the laws of the state. He believed that Christians should live according to the teachings of the New Testament, particularly those concerning humility, love for enemies, and non-resistance to evil. This point of view is at odds with the way the Orthodox Church institutionalized Christianity, often associating itself with the power of the state and justifying political authority based on religious tradition. Libertarian anarcho-capitalism, as defended by the Rothbardian school, presents a somewhat different approach from Tolstoy's, but still shares points of convergence. Both systems reject the coercive authority of the state and advocate for a form of social organization based on individual freedom. However, while Tolstoy's vision advocates for a society based on love and voluntary cooperation inspired by Christianity, anarcho-capitalism defends a society where order emerges from property rights and competition in the free market, without the need for state intervention. Anarcho-capitalism, though deeply secular in its foundations, finds points of contact with Tolstoy's Christian thought concerning the defense of private property and individual liberty. Rosbaud, for instance, argues that private property is a natural right that must be protected from aggression, and the defense of liberty is central to his vision of a just society. This emphasis on individual freedom and natural law is something that may resonate with Tolstoy's principles, even though he never advocated for the creation of an economic system based on market competition. However, a criticism from anarcho-capitalism toward Tolstoy's view would be his idealization of human behavior. Anarcho-capitalism affirms that individuals, acting rationally, will seek to maximize their utility through the market, and that voluntary exchanges will lead to benefits for all. On the other hand, Tolstoy believed that true freedom and justice could only be achieved through the moral and spiritual transformation of individuals, which places his approach at odds with the more pragmatic view of anarcho-capitalism, which does not necessarily advocate for Christian morality and believes morality can simply emerge from a system that is based on non-aggression, though not incompatible with Christianity. From an Orthodox perspective, the Christian community and adherence to ecclesiastical tradition are considered essential for salvation and for authentic Christian life. Tolstoy's view, emphasizing individual freedom and the rejection of institutions, may be seen as a form of heresy or deviation from traditional Orthodox teachings at first glance, but when removing excessive idealism and his anti-capitalist views, Tolstoy merits recognition for his rejection of coercive means and his penetration of the Orthodox Church. This rejection actually affirms the Christian doctrine profoundly. Within the Orthodox patristic tradition, the rejection of the union between the state and Christianity is a concern reflected in various writings of the early Church Fathers. Although the Church became an influential institution, especially after the Nicene Council and the adoption of Christianity as the official religion of the Roman Empire, many early Christian thinkers, such as Tertullian and Origen, expressed skepticism about state power and the attempt to align the empire with the faith. Tertullian, for example, pointed out that the kingdom of God is not of this world, John 6:36 p.m., warning of the danger of compromising the purity of Christian faith by associating it with a corrupt political power. Origen, on the other hand, reflected on the idea that Christians, as citizens of the heavenly kingdom, should not submit to the absolute control of earthly authorities, as true authority lies with Christ. For these thinkers, state power, by appropriating religion, corrupted the gospel, turning it into a tool for maintaining political order and often violence, distorting the teachings of love and peace central to Christianity. The idea of Christianity detached from any state power continued to be an important principle in many strands of Orthodox patristic thought, maintaining that true power belongs to God, not to earthly kingdoms. Although Tolstoy's anarchism presents divergences both with anarcho-capitalism and with orthodoxy, valuable lessons can still be drawn from his philosophy. His emphasis on non-violence, love, and individual transformation can inspire Christian anarcho-capitalists to reflect on the importance of freedom, responsibility, and respect for others. His worldview, despite its errors and successes, strongly emphasizes the deep connection between anarchism and Christianity, which with the arrival of libertarianism and market anarchism, will be refined and find its best logical formulation.